Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. I just want to get right to it and bring you a dream that my dad had that is somewhat apocalyptic, which I find to be very interesting. I do think it's also prophetic. So see what you think about it. This was August 29th, 2020, right after the pandemic had begun. And this is actually the first dream we ever wrote down, which was there was just something about it that made us compelled to write it down. This was before we were even putting together that God might be bringing him dreams or speaking to him through dreams, or to our family through dreams, and now to you. See what you think of this one. We've prayed about it, and you do it as well, and see what the Lord tells you about this. All right. My dad was in a city, and a man came up to him, a couple of men, and said that they wanted him to remodel an office building that was on the edge of town. So my dad said, sure. So they started walking towards this building, and they had to jump over 3 barbed wire fences. Each one getting higher and higher. And it made my dad nervous. They would jump over it, and then my dad would have to. They got to the building, and it was 10 by 12. He looked at the floors, my dad did, and the man said, we want you to paint the floor. And my dad said, why? It's fine. Then the men climbed the stairs and were on this platform. And my dad said, the lower floor needs to be for offices and customers. The men were on a higher platform, and they jumped off of it and went outside. My dad climbed the stairs to the platform and then climbed down the stairs, went back the same way, jumped over the fences, found himself in a ditch. He looked over, and silhouetted on the horizon were some people, and my dad had a gun, and he shot towards them because he just knew they were dangerous. And it was about that time that he looked back over his shoulder, and a huge fireball was coming straight for him in the city. He stepped to the right, and the fireball just blew past him and destroyed the city. Now he was fine, and he made his way across the railroad tracks to, he was out in the country, agricultural area, and there were 2 men dressed, they looked like farmers, and they were kind of on higher ground. And my dad looked up at them, and the men said, your ground needs to be plowed. And my dad said, yeah, I know, I need to plow. And they said, do you want us to help you? We can bring our tractors. And my dad said, no, he would take care of it himself. He knew he had to dig 2 feet deep to put the seed in the ground. And the ground was so dry, he wasn't sure he could, but he just knew it was 2 feet. And about that time, a little boy came up to him and said, which church do you like, the one in the city or the one in the country? And my dad said, the country. So my dad is aware that, and the little boy ran off. My dad is aware that this land is his land. And there are people coming from the city that had just been destroyed by the fireball. And my dad said, we can build a new place here on my land. We can use my land. So he began to help people build a 3-wall construction for their shops. They were made out of white. They were white brick, white wood, I don't know, but they were white. So while they were building, the dust started coming up off the ground, and there was a bale of hay with a metal strap on it. So my dad busted the strap and handed out straw hay to everyone, and they knew if they just put it on the ground, it would settle the dust, and sure enough, it did. Then my dad went back across the railroad tracks to the city that was burnt, and it was total destruction. He got 2 bulldozers, and men to drive them. And they bulldozed all the rubble into 2 piles. The land was flat, but it was just gray, black ash. It was all burnt. And over on the horizon, he could see that original building he went in. It was still standing, even though it was burnt. So he went back across the railroad tracks to the new land. People were building new structures, and he went to 2 men and said, we can have a gas station at this intersection. There was an intersection there now. And he gave permission for the men to have 1 gas station on each corner, and they were just thrilled about that. And so then my dad just stood back and watched the people build the town. And that's the end of the dream. A couple of things to take note of in this dream. There were a lot of division in that one side and the other side, upstairs, downstairs, 2 feet deep. Whenever you have the number 2 in a dream over and over again, it usually means there's going to be, or there is, some kind of division. Now there is also the number 3, which is very prevalent. There were 3 fences, there were 3-sided figures, and there were like buildings that the people were building, and there were also 3 structures that they had built. I didn't tell you that, but they began to build 3-sided structures, and they were 3 right in a row. So 3 threes. Whenever you see the number 3 in a dream, often that points to the Trinity, especially when it's 3 threes. It's very much blessed by God, or an indicator that this is from God, the Godhead, the Father, Son, and Spirit. So those are the things to pay attention to in this dream and draw from. I don't know what the future holds, but it's something to take note of, that we are as close to nuclear war now as we ever have been, even more so than the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 60s. I'm not sure people are quite aware of that or even preparing for that. Do I think the United States is going to get hit by a nuclear bomb? Probably not, but we might feel the repercussions if one goes off in Europe. Today, this is the 27th of April, 2022. Russia just cut off the gas supply to Poland because they wouldn't pay in rubles. That's significant. If you look what's happening over there, it is not de-escalating, it is escalating. Are we on the cusp of World War III? Yes. Are we in World War III? In my opinion, yeah. So does this dream pertain to that? It could possibly pertain to that. And I think the takeaway from this dream is there's hope. There's hope of a new land. There's hope of rebuilding with like-minded people. There's hope in Christ. I believe the 2 men that look like farmers were angelic beings. I think God is with us. I think angels are ministering to the believers, and we're going to be fine. But I do think it's prudent to get ready. Prep your food. Get your shelves full of shelf-stable foods, water, medical supplies. But more importantly, prepare your souls, because when you are prepared for the afterlife, then nothing in this life can ever scare you. All right, I'm going to leave that with you right now. You can do with it as you want to. I'm glad you joined me. Stay close to God. Until next time.